Alright guys, I don't know if you can hear me well enough with the heater on, but that right there is the inlet on what it looks like on the inside coming from the outside. So if you see the blue line there on the left, that is where you have a supply from the city. So that's where you would hook up the garden hose directly to, and that's what you would use when you're sitting at a festival, you know, multi-day, where they supply water. The part on the right is the fill that comes back and dumps into the tank. And there's my tank. That is a 33-gallon tank, and that is a 45-gallon gray water tank underneath of it, because there needs to be a 15% increase in tank size for the gray water. There is the hot water tank I use. It's a 2.5-gallon electric tank. It works phenomenally. The recovery rate is fantastic on those. It is more than enough you need for hand washing. If you're doing a lot of dishwashing, you would need to upgrade to closer to a 5-gallon. I think it's got a 4.5 or a 5-gallon tank, something like that. That's what you would need for the dishwashing. But since you're staying out of the dishwashing, that 2.5-gallon is perfect. It's just a couple $100. It's made by Bosch, and it is phenomenal. What you need to do now is to hook up a, once you fill your tank up with water, you'll have the pump, and I use the, I forget what they're called, FlowJet is what I use, I think. But yeah, you just, oh no, SureFlow. If you zoom in, you can see the website on there. But anyways, it's a SureFlow. That thing has worked awesome. It's the best one I've gotten so far. You just have the water source, it'll suck it out, and then it'll, when it comes out the other end, you have it go to, well, here. So when it comes out, it goes up, and then this line feeds into the hot water tank, and then out comes the hot water, and then you just do your hot water line. I got it in red, and then that's what the sinks feed off of. After the pump, and then after what goes into the tank, you just feed that to your dish, your faucets after that. But you put your pump over here. You put the pump between the tank and the inlet from an external source. So then that way, when you have your when you're connected to city water, it never engages the pump. You can have it on, you can have it off. It's not gonna mess with it too much. But if I were you, I would take your pump and put it on a circuit that you can flip the switch in the circuit breaker, because sometimes have it connecting to city water, the pump still goes. It's a weird situation, so you kind of want to have control of that. So make sure you put your pump on a breaker in the panel so you can shut it off real easy. This line here, that's it, that goes to this little thing in the middle. That is just an air line, and I use it for the gray water, the fresh water. When it fills, I just have it up high enough to where you're really not going to overfill it, and if you do, just make sure it goes straight out. You can connect that to that gray water line, but what I found is it'll start filling up your gray water when you notice, because when you fill it and it gets full in here, it'll go up and then dart out, you know, outside where you're filling it. But before that happens, if you have this line here, this air line connected to that air line for the air gap, that will feed into this, which in turn feeds the gray water. So you kind of don't want to do that. Or just be wary of it and then drain the tank, or leave it open until you see water coming out of the gray water. However you want to handle that. but you don't want to be in a situation where you use all this water that you drain into this tank, and then this tank backs up into the sinks, which I've had happen before, but it takes a lot of water. So I mean, that probably won't happen to you, but it has to me. These sinks here, I did this here, I supported them, and I just got this channel, and I cut it in half and JB welded it just for more stability. Now the sinks that I bought are 3 in a row here, so you got, you know, your wash, your rinse, and your sanitize, and then they were built in a way where it had support going down in between. So, you know, double check, make sure yours has that, because since it had that and it was all a flush system between here and here, it was just butted up real nice, and on here too, it was all one big gigantic piece. I was able to cut a big hole and drop it in really without much stability loss back here, although I did JB weld a piece of steel onto this so that it didn't sink in like this, because it did that in my original trailer. And so if you have water back here, it flows in and gets on the ground. Now the ground here in this truck is steel or aluminum, so it won't rust, so I'm not really worried about it. But in my trailer, it's wood floor, and my floor is rotted and it's about ready to be stepped through. I gotta redo the floor in the little trailer. What else? That's about it. If you see that little right there, that blue piece that juts out to the right, don't ask me about that, because you won't need that. So just come out of the pump, come up, tee off to go into your hot water tank, and then finish the run over like I showed you earlier. That run to the right, I was adding a water fill, like a pot filler that you put over your stove. I was going to do that over top of the rice cookers, but I ended up not doing it. It's just it's a dead line that I haven't removed yet, so don't worry about that. Yep. You know, if you know plumbing, it's just, you know, that's all it is. You know, so whatever. So this is quite tall. This isn't your normal 36-inch height. It's more like 40, 41, 42, something like that. But I did squeeze all of this into 48 inches left to right, because this is a 4-foot table that I've cut up. Make sure you get a table that has this backsplash coming up. Don't get anything that rounds off or straight on the back. And if you do, then you just got to make sure you caulk it. But, you know, if you do what I did here, you don't have to worry about the caulking, and which, you know, when you go to, if you have to take it apart for any reason, you know, you'll have a easier time rather than dealing with the caulk. That's really about it. These sink packages come with OK faucets. The package I got had that faucet, and it also had one for here, but I replaced that one because it started leaking. These things are not the best. They're kind of cheap and plasticky, but so far this one has been in here for 3 years, and that one I had to change out within a year. So I hope this helps. I'll send some more pictures with this video, and yeah, if you got any more questions, let me know. Talk to you guys. Bye.